Hello, everybody. This is Pat with Veterinary Marketing Group. I hope all is well. This is just a quick walkthrough of VMG 360. This is our all-in-one marketing software and communication software. And I just wanted to do this quick walkthrough of this so you can have an idea of just how powerful this software is and also how easy it is to get set up. We designed this software very a la carte. Right. So if you're like, Pat, really, I don't need the hiring engine. I really don't want your services right now. I really don't want, the Vet Concierge. You can do that. If you're like, Pat, I just want the bare bones. I want to be able to use this right here at the cross-platform messaging. That's okay. You can do that. Okay. We wanted this to work for any size practice, whether you were a smaller one location, 5 location, or a franchise or a consolidator, this process works. And you could use it at your level and grow with it. Okay, that was the key here. Okay, so in this particular walkthrough, I'm just going to walk through the capabilities of the VMG 360. Again, I'm not going to go too deep into the hiring engine or Vet Concierge or other products, just because we have other videos that kind of jump into that very deeply. I will reference them to show you where they're at, and then we'll take it there. So obviously, there's the CRM system itself covers these 4 areas. It's going to cover the hiring area, right? So this is not recruiting software. Let me be clear. This is not recruiting software. You can get recruiting software anywhere. It's usually very expensive. Me personally, I use recruiting software. When I use recruiting software, I pay for it. I jump in like a rabid dog and I get as many and I find as many opportunities as possible in some cases. And then I'll shoot emails and invite them to apply, right? Once they apply though, we pull them into your CRM system, into an area called the hiring engine, where it organizes all those applicants. And based on your size, you can have this added into one pipeline, interview pipeline, or you can separate it into multiple pipelines. Like if you're looking for an associate BDM, or if you're looking for a vet nurse, vet tech, assistant, administrator, receptionist, you can actually do that and organize this all the way through the hiring process. Okay, makes it very organized. You can also assign other people to do some of the more mundane tasks, or rinse and repeat is what I call them, rinse and repeat tasks, right? So what you don't want is, you don't want your practice manager, if you are a practice manager listening to this and not a DVM, you don't want your practice manager going in and doing a simple background check, or saying, okay, do they have their certifications? Do they have this? Do they have that? Do they have 3 years of experience? Whatever your hiring brief, okay, and your job scoreboard says, if it's rinse and repeat and they can just go check, you should have somebody else doing that. Whether it's internal or not, it's up to you, but you can assign our Vet Concierge to do that, or you can do whatever you want to do, but at least it's organized and it moves them through. Really cool about hiring automation is it actually lets you move from when you make an offer and they get home and they get hired. You can move them right to an onboarding pipeline where they can go into an onboarding and orientation. So just think about the time that this saves, okay? You've got to make sure this process is done efficiently, because one of the issues with hiring is getting people through and getting them hired quickly and educated quickly, okay? So cross-platform messaging, I'm going to jump into that. This is pretty straightforward, guys, but it is such a big deal when it comes to communication, efficiency, and staying productive, okay? You want to be able to respond to not only patients, okay? Patients probably are going to call you and they may email you, and it'll pull into this, but it'll tag them and let you know if they're a patient. But the more important thing is that you can respond very quickly to good reviews, bad reviews, Instagram messaging, email, cell, text, all over the place, right? And then not only can you communicate with them, but based off their need, you can immediately assign them to someone else, okay, that can answer that question better, or you can get them into an opportunity if they're interested in wellness packages or dental or anything at all. As long as it's in the information and content is inside the CRM system, you can actually, send them that information very symphonically. Okay, you can actually just tag them, and I'll show you that in a second. Okay, patient nurturing, guys, this is something that sounds simple, But the reality is, think about it like this. If someone comes on board with you, a client brings their patient, brings their pup in, brings their pet in, whatever pet, the first thing you should have is a level of onboarding for that particular client, right? So when you do that, we have automations that create a welcome email. Again, this should be communicating with your patient, with your practice management software. All right. So to be clear about this is not practice management software. It is not. We are not interested in being practice management software, but we do integrate with it. We're working on native APIs to be able to integrate with specifically the patient software. But you can also send it through Zapier or a third-party connection tool and push the information as soon as the patient signs up right into this, and boom, that can trigger an automation welcome campaign based on that pet. So we can actually get in here and base it off of a dog, a cat, a bird, a horse. It doesn't matter, a hamster. It doesn't matter, right? And then again, we can build these out for you, or depending on your package with us, we have packages that have 52 weeks of patient nurturing emails. Okay, how to prepare your pets for 4th of July. Valentine's Day, please don't eat the flowers. Which flowers are dangerous, right? And we have things for every single holiday. And usually they're connected to a service or something too, but they're just educational. It's just that way to stay in touch. You've heard me say this before. It's that verbal hug. It's that email hug that just says, hey, listen, here's some education. Where we get a little more detailed with this, depending on your relationship with us and the package that you have, if someone has a pug or a Labrador or a Siamese cat or whatever, we can send out an automation that educates them on taking care of a German Shepherd. Maybe the pet has a tendency towards hip dysplasia. You're not going to talk about taking care of a Belgian Malinois or a very active dog the same way you're going to be talking about taking care of a bulldog. Okay, they're both lovely animals, but there's a different way, and there's certain things you want to look out for. There's even differences in diet. Okay, imagine having that down here, and it onboards them and educates them specifically. Another area of patient nurturing that I think is super, super important is an introduction in educating that patient on the doctor. So if someone calls and sets an appointment up for the first time, this is your chance to shine. Onboarding a new patient is the most important and fertile time to educate them on your culture, on your team, who you are, what you do. Okay, now you could just shoot them the video, but what I find, what happens is people just walk in and they kind of look on the website and they look at the doctor a little bit and there's not much about them. Wouldn't it be nice to just, as soon as you fill out and do the same thing you're going to do anyway, and fill out on your practice management system and add that new patient, it tags as a new patient, it goes right into your CRM system, and then a welcome email comes out. And honestly, that should be a welcome email coming from the doctor. It should give a little background about the doctor. It should talk a little bit about what they do, how long they've been in business, that they are a doctor. Interesting part about this is that most people don't realize how long DVMs go to school for, and even some of the other team members. So what that does is it makes them not justify when a high price comes in. They don't see it like a regular doctor. I don't know why, but that's the reality. But there's ways to educate your patient before they come in, to set expectations about being busy. There's a lot of things. Educate them on what's going on in the industry. This can all happen automated, guys. And you just, an educated patient, this is the best patient that you could possibly, educated client is the best client you can have. Okay. So that's the patient nurturing side. This is a big, big, big area. And then you've got your tracking and your reporting. What's wonderful about this is we pull in Google ads, Facebook ads, we pull in analytics. And then a wonderful piece of this that you're going to love is the call reporting. We can record all calls if you choose to, and then we can track all those calls as well. Okay, so you can see, a little coaching. Maybe your receptionist is answering a little too fast. Okay, maybe you're listening and they're not understanding the different services you have. Maybe they miss an opportunity. Maybe they were a little too crass on the phone. Maybe there's just a little bit of a better way to say something, right? These are the little things that you get up in the morning with a cup of coffee and just listen. very simple. And you may not even have to tell the person, hey, I listened to this and you did this wrong. Getting information is very important to be able to just come to that person in just a natural setting. And you go to lunch with them and you can just bring up the process without having to chastise them because you listen to it. You could actually bring it up in a different way without even telling them that you heard them on a recording. Okay. There's a lot of ways that you can use the data that we have. This is about data mining, and it allows your team to not be a data entry person, but it allows them to be data scientists, and it allows them to get in and become, make the practice better as a team. Okay. So without further ado, I'm going to roll through this and go over. Towards the end, though, I'm going to have an Excel spreadsheet here. And what this is going to do is I want you to just sit down, open the Excel spreadsheet, and just list out what you're paying for each month. And it's going to sneak up on you. Okay. There's actually software that does this and looks at what you're paying on your personal side. I did it and I found about $200 a month that was just going out the window that I totally forgot about. So you want to look into this. One of the major ones to earmark is reputation management. If you don't have reputation management software, you should have it. One of the biggest areas is reputation management right now due to being understaffed. Okay. You just need to have a proactive approach and a reputation strategy. Got the call tracking, workflows, booking appointments, so go add this up and see what it comes out to. We did an average just by being in the industry and knowing what different size practices are paying. Okay. So without further ado, I'm going to jump in here. When you first start, I'm going to jump back here. Okay. When you first sign up with the VMG 360, I invite you to try it just with the free trial. We'll give you about 10 days of a free trial and access to just about everything. But when you jump in here, I'm going to go through a test so you can see. But the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to be directed to a Launchpad, okay? And it's very simple. You're going to connect to Google My Business, right? You hit connect, right? It's going to say, okay, well, where do you want to connect to? And you're just going to click the Gmail that you're working with. Okay, that's connected to your Google My Business. If you don't know, look it up. I would check it out first, and it's going to ask you to connect, and it's going to connect your Google My Business account. Okay, you can, it's awesome, right? So it's going to connect that account, and you're going to get set up with that. You can connect your Facebook page. You can pull in your reviews from there. Any type of chat you have on your website. It can do payments and a lot of other things for hosting. I'm not going to get into all that right now, but this is the main one that if you're going to give this puppy a test ride, this is where you want to kind of connect this and this. Okay. Next is your dashboard. What's good about dashboard is that we can customize this dashboard to whatever type of practice that you are. So if you are pretty focused on services and upselling to increase annual patient value for, by using your dental campaign or by vaccines or by, it could be boarding, it could be grooming, right? It could be annual wellness packages, monthly wellness packages. Okay. You can see how you're doing here, but also if you want to change gears and actually pull up and see, okay, how many practice manager or how many receptionist interviews do we have in a stage where they're completed, right? So you can go in here and say, okay, we have 4 receptionists that we interviewed 6 months ago or 4 months ago that are already completed and approved, right? You can see where you're at with each one of these. Pretty amazing stuff to get back in if you need real time, very quickly, someone quits or someone's sick to bring someone else in, okay? Pretty awesome stuff, okay? As you go down here, again, we can tweak any of these tasks. This will show you tasks that you have for the day, right? So if you are in charge of hiring and you're an HR person, we would tweak these tasks and you would get pinged as soon as someone applied for a position, you would get pinged. It would be pulled into here. All the information, all of the certifications, and whether it's a PDF, would all get uploaded into here and you'd be assigned a task. Pretty cool. By the way, and and I don't suggest a practice manager doing rinse and repeat stuff. Even a receptionist, anybody that's there, if there is something to do that's rinse and repeat, you should be outsourcing that, okay, for a lot less money. Get the value of the dollar, okay, and outsource that. But you can assign this task to a VA or the Vet Concierge service that we have. If it's just checking background checks, making sure they have their certifications for real, making sure they're updated, making sure they have 3 years of background, and just make sure they're qualified, before before you reach out to them. Okay, so this is where all those type of tasks can come in. Okay, here's where things get real sexy. I'm going to switch over to a live situation. Okay, we've got ourselves our conversation area. Guys, this is probably the most powerful and the first thing that I think that most practice managers or receptionists or whoever's handling the day-to-day in and out communication stuff, I think this is the most powerful area, but it's also the area that's not that's not that expensive either. Okay, it's almost a no-brainer here. And we did that on purpose, okay? But you can see it pulls in all your, once you connect your Google My Business, it'll pull in all conversations from Google My Business, okay? And you can get ping or notified, okay? Based on what they see, right? If they want to know what would the prices be for sterilization, as long as you have an email in here and you have their information, you could say, what's your email? And actually talk back to them. They give you the email back, and then boom, you can add a tag or an opportunity about prices for sterilization if it's in there. If it's not in there, you could ask, we know to add that into your automation. So you're getting better each time, right? Phone calls, obviously, can be pulled into here. Got another Google My Business. I'm going to go over to all here so you can see all of them. We got a great review. Boom, you can respond immediately, right? You can dispute the review if it's a little bit of a BS, right? You can go rate. This is connected to your GMB. You can go rate the GMB and see it there, right? You can go in here and hit this. By the way, someone gives a 5-star review, you might want to do something. You might want to send them a little package. You might want to say thank you in a different way, send them a card, anything, right? Okay, and the opposite here is a phone call, and here's a bad review. You want to be able to respond to bad reviews literally as fast as possible, okay? A bad review is like the phone ringing, okay? You want to be able to respond. I have a whole training on review management. Okay, if you're in a larger package with us, you might get the whole vet rep training program for free. Okay, here is an example of instant message. Okay, so this is Facebook instant message. You've got Instagram instant message, another Google My Business. You guys get the point here, right? So the communication is super fast and very easy. Just think how much time this puts back on the table for you. Just think about it, okay? You can use this from your phone. There's an app. It's just good stuff, okay? Calendars. Now, you're not going to use your calendar for bookings, right, for appointments. That's practice management software. Again, please, I don't want you confused here. This is not practice management software. This is not recruiting software. It is neither of those. You want to keep your practice management software. We're in the middle of integrating with practice management software, or as soon as you sign up a new patient, the new patient can zap into here and be put automatically in your contacts area, okay, as a patient. But you don't want to be booking, obviously, inside here, okay? Could you integrate it? You probably could. It could integrate right into that, but we don't want to do that. What this is for is the hiring manager, right? So let's say you go through the process and your virtual assistant or you have qualified that receptionist, that vet tech, that vet nurse, whomever, right? And you're ready to reach out to them and set up an interview, a one-on-one Google Meet, however you do that process. Okay, we can tweak this to whatever you do. Okay, part of that can be automated, but the idea is you could reach out, and this is where this calendar will be connected to your calendar, right? And you can go in there, it'll say interviews, and you just click in. It's in your Google Calendar, and you can set up your appointments for interviews. Okay, or here's where it gets sexy. Okay. If you're approved, you can move them through your opportunities pipeline, okay? So let's just say that they're a practice manager, okay? What you'll allow them to do, I'm going to move over to this other test area because I really want you to see practical examples of this, okay? So let's just say you've got a bunch of practice managers you're interviewing, all right? Let's just move this down to here. And what you're going to see is that if you get to the point where you're qualifying these people and you move them over to one area, it'll trigger and tell your assistant to set up an interview for you. And then, you can move that over to conducted and all the way through the process here. You can see we have a whole process for interviewing. Everybody's different on how they interview, right? So again, we have a whole process here, and you can take it away and make it as complex or as simple as you want, based off of your practice. This breaks down to every single position you could hire. You could add specialty DVMs and a lot more if you want to. Okay, I'm not getting into this right now. okay? But it is very powerful. And again, the idea behind this whole hiring thing is really you want to have a qualification pool. You want people that are qualified. Maybe you didn't hire them, but if you have a nice qualification pool with the positions, when you do need someone, you can just go right back to this and pull this up, okay? So again, that's that process. Let me jump back over to here. So again, that's that. Now let's just jump back into, I'm going to skip over payments because you're really not going to, you could take payments through here if you want to. It integrates. So if you have Stripe or PayPal, people want to pay for a wellness package or anything like that, you could set that up on here if you want to, okay? I know some of you do that. Some of you have products and other things like that for grooming and all kinds of other things. We can easily do that. As we get into marketing, this is where it gets pretty interesting. You can connect all of your social accounts here. You can post, you can do all kinds of things through TikTok, Google My Business, Instagram. Pretty cool, right? You can actually save time and you can schedule your posts. Think about that, right? Scheduling your posts, okay? So we have a ton of different posts that you can post on Facebook. Talk about being able to manage from one spot. Is this awesome or what? You can get in here. I'm not going to go through this whole program. That's not what this is for. This is for the CRM system, okay? Now let's jump over here into automations, okay? This is where it gets really cool too. Any of the automations you have, if this, then that. If this client does this, I want them to go here. We already have built-in campaigns. Again, depending on the package you have with us, we have lots of different campaigns out there for wellness packages, for dental, for everything. Again, do you need to have all that? No, if you don't want it, you can do it yourself, or you don't have to use this area. But this is where all the automation happens. This is where all the sexy stuff happens. Okay, if you're not tech, you've got questions right here where we can help you with this. But really, we can get in and we kind of help with this program and kind of set up these workflows for you. You can see there's dental quizzes for this client. They're really focused on dental because it's great money. Okay. Now let's move into here. These are landing pages for holiday vacations, for dog breed emails. I mean, there's a lot of things that we can do with this, as you can see. So, this is a pretty powerful program where you can jump in here and do lots of new things and build out little landing pages based off of the need that you have and based off of your practice. Okay. So again, I can't really stress enough how cool this is. I want to show you. You could see this was a wellness package we did for spring cleaning and clean my teeth, right? Kind of thing. And it worked out great. And it goes right through to the landing page and the sign up. We even had a variation of this that was a quiz to find out, are my dog's teeth messed up, right? So again, a lot of beta testing. This is your landing page world, right? All together, guys. We're all in the same spot here. Isn't this sexy? All right. Now let's get into some of the more serious thing. I find this area is probably one of the most important here because it's affecting all practices and hospitals, and it doesn't matter the size. The bigger, the worse it's happening, but there's a trend in reviews, okay? We know that it's because you're understaffed. I get that, but that doesn't mean that it's okay. Okay, we have to get better, get more efficient, and figure out ways that we can communicate to at least keep the happy people. And most of them are happy. The problem is when people say, when people are happy, like if let's just say I was kind of happy at the restaurant, I might not leave a review. I could say the food was amazing and still not leave a review. But you know what? If someone reached out to me and said, you know what, did you like the food? I'm like, oh my God, it was amazing. And if they called me up and the maitre d' was like, Mr. Nacito, was the food great? I'm like, yeah, it was. But listen, we just texted you a little thank you coupon, but also, could you leave an honest review? Oh, well, yes. Well, we just texted it to you right now. Thank you so much. I would probably leave the review. I'd leave a 5-star, right? I just don't think about it. You know where people do leave a review real quick is as soon as they're not happy. All right. You know how they also leave reviews? If they see that your reviews are at like a 3.5, then they're going to expect, something bad to happen and look for it. Okay. I'm not going to get into that. If you want to learn more about the Vet Rep product and you want to learn more about our free, review management training, you can jump in there and check it out, or our Vet Concierge and how we get you more reviews. And turn you from what we call a speedboat type of practice into an aircraft carrier review type of practice where you're just impenetrable when it comes to the amount of reviews that you have. You can check that out. It's a pretty awesome program. Here's here. So you can go in as soon as you connect your Google My Business, okay? It's going to give you your average rating for the last 6 months. Again, in the training, I show you how to do this throughout to do it by yourself. Going in, downloading the information from Google My Business, pasting it into a spreadsheet and looking at each month and getting your average and seeing where the pain is, what's the root cause of why this is happening. Here's a little easier, guys. You can see, I can show you how many reviews someone got in a week. I can see how many reviews we got this month. I can see the average rating for the year, right? I could also see the average rating for the last 6 months. So what is this telling me? Just an example, I can go in here and this is telling me that there's an issue, right? If I go into here and I look at like this year so far, guys, this is February already. They're averaging a 3.7. They're down 10% with their reviews. Right now, if they don't make a change, now, again, the average rating is a little bit different, right? So this is for the year. If I go for the last 6 months or overall, it's going to give you an average rating. But I promise you that you can see that they're trending downwards, all right? And you can see people clicking yes and no in their sentiment that are positive or negative, right? You can see right here, right? So if I go in the month, I have a feeling, there you go, 50-50, right? So again, you can also invite, you can request invites. You can see that here. And then we can get really detailed into the requests. This is what I like, and it's not showing here for some reason, but you can jump into this request. You can go into your reviews and you can break this up through Google or Facebook. Okay. You could also jump into your, all right, I want to see the 1 stars. Okay. I just want to see 1 or 2 stars or lower. You can go in and really, really look at this and split it out. Or if you want to get into the 5 stars and say, you want to say, let's get all the 5-star reviews and send these people a nice, happy package, right? These are the ones you want to kind of say, okay, these are really good. Okay, if you're going to do just the max 5 raising, but if the max is a 1, then you can go through the ones and you can really see what's happening here, guys. What's going on? What's the root cause? Okay. All right. So again, I hope you see how important this is. There's also a listing section. If you want to go here and add SEO to listings, again, I'm not going to get into this right now, but you can. Okay. Final piece here, guys. Thanks for sticking with me. I know it's been 26 minutes, but I hope that you're like, holy crap, you guys did a great job with this. This is all in one, and it's going to save me hundreds of hours, literally hundreds of hours. Imagine if you're a multi-location practice, okay? You can click here. If you're an executive or an owner, you can get to any of your locations, okay, if you want to, any of your locations, and you can jump in and out of here just to see how the different locations are doing, okay? This is your reporting, Google Ads. So they're running ads here. It shows the conversion rate with these ads and how they're doing, just high level. This is not rocket science. It's not new, but we just have it set up for you so you can get access to it. Same thing with Facebook ads. You can go in here and kind of take a look at any time, that you want. You can look at any of the ads that have been running for the last year, month, 2 months, and really get an idea of what's going on in your practice. Okay, so you can look at those campaigns. You can see the spring cleaning campaign that you saw, and there's lots, right? You can see all kinds that are paused, that are not paused, really giving you an idea of hey, my cost per click is a lot lower on Facebook versus Google for this particular campaign, right? Okay, we can go attribution, what's converting. Now here's where things get a little more sexy, in my opinion. This is the growth agent. This is where you're able to get into here and actually see what's going on when it comes to who's answering the phone. If you're like, hey, listen, we're missing 30 or 40% of our phone calls. Okay. That's a pretty big deal, right? You can break this into all the phone calls for all of your locations, or you could look at it through just one, right? Remember, if you're a bigger organization, you can look at it as a whole, or you can look at it as a smaller location-based view. Okay, you can filter things if you want to by any way that you want to. I'm not going to get into this in detail right now. All right, and now here's where it gets very cool. Okay, now there's 2 things. Number 1, if you're using our Vet Concierge service and we're making phone calls as an extension of your organization to get you reviews, to talk to people, just to say thank you, to give them verbal hugs. You'll hear me mention verbal hugs all over the place in my videos because it's so important, right? The empathetic piece there. But you can go in here and you can actually click right here and you can listen to what the person's saying. Look, right? So they go in and you can hear what they're saying. You can see if it's a qualified call. You can move them into a different, wherever you want to. But the point is you can get information and you can coach. So if someone's answering the phone too fast, or you can go back and say, okay, that's interesting. We have a bad review. Okay, we have a bad review by Mary Jones. Okay, and yeah, now you can go in and cross-reference the date. And it's not a perfect science, but you can listen and be like, you know what? Wow, the receptionist actually was rude. They did say this. They did misinform. Okay. So you can back this up. Again, we're not talking about micromanagement, but this is your business and you are running a business. And again, you need to understand and let your team know, hey, listen, calls can be recorded, okay, for customer service to get better. Okay. That's it. Okay. So you want to let your team know if you're going to have this service in here, but it's pretty awesome. Okay, you can also see the calls that the Vet Concierge is making on your behalf. You could actually take this and we can tweak this area and really kind of filter out, and you can get into the person who's making the phone calls, and really, if it's Vet Concierge, you can get into the campaign. Pretty cool stuff, guys. So again, I know this was a long video. It was 30 minutes long. I hope it's one of the best 30 minutes that you've spent, so you could see how much time we spent in building out this platform. We are always getting better. We're always creating more and more tweaks and changes. The goal with this CRM system is to take it and talk to hundreds and thousands of different practices across the country and just get better with this. And when you're in our package, all of those increases and those bells and whistles that get added are automatically added into your account if you want them. Okay, if you have any questions about this or get the free trial, please reach out or go below and click to sign up, and then we can answer any questions that you have. Thanks.